birthday drinks.
Welcome to episode 3 of the Soulful Seeds podcast. This is the final chapter of our journey with the Bell family farm. In this episode, we sit with the elders whose hands shape this land, whose stories carry generations of resilience, and whose experiences remind us what is truly meant to be a Black farmer in their time. Through their voices, we hear about adversity, discrimination, and survival, but also legacy, pride, and purpose.
So, how long or how much time did you spend on Bell Farm as a kid?
For coming out.
Or even as a young adult, I guess.
Probably like my whole life, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
And how did you like it?
I loved it. We used to, my grandpa, we had this big farm. We used to pick, like, he had a strawberry patch. He was growing a lot of stuff. I loved it, honestly. I love the outdoors.
Your family got most of their fruits and vegetables from? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that helped you to form like good food choices as an adult, like growing up on a farm, seeing how it was produced, or where it came from?
A lot healthier, honestly, yeah. It was nice. It's better than the grocery store.
Yes, because we all know that it's laced with preservatives.
Yes.
Like when the older generation moves on, do you and the other grandkids maybe have a vision for the...
Yeah, we should definitely like still recreate this and do all this other stuff. Like recreate this, you know, keep coming out here as much as we can.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to let it die.
Yeah. Because this is the 100th year.
Right, yeah.
Here we meet the next generation, stepping forward to carry that legacy, asking what it means to protect the land, honor their roots, and build something that lasts.
Julius Bell here, Julius Leon Bell's official name, 41 years old. My father's Leonard Bell Jr., mother's the late Brenda Bell Jones. Also, I have 2 boys, Julian and Carter. One's 15, Julian, Carter's 9. My wife Tori, she's RN, so she's not here with us today. But anyway, I guess I'd be considered a 4th generational farmer. Grew up here all my life. I don't currently farm. I mean, we do a lot of things that's farm related. Went to school for turf management at Horry Georgetown. So everything I do as far as my business is landscaping and lawn services, on top of clearing and grading work as well. More so that in the off season. The garden we're standing in right now, years ago, believe it or not, used to actually be a horse paddock. When I say years ago, I'm talking every bit of about 31, 32 years ago.
Okay.
The horse we had, the name was Patsy, and we're standing right in the middle of that pasture right now. So, you know, things that we did around the farm, we raised cattle, hogs, chickens. We would actually be standing near the chicken coop right now, where it used to be 30 plus years ago. So my dad had his cattle, my grandfather had his cattle. 2 separate farms, kind of one big farm, but 2 separate areas. I would say back then we was probably raising a total of about anywhere 125, 150 plus cattle at that time. You know, so as far as grandchildren, I'm actually the second oldest grandchild. I have an older cousin, Terrence. He's about 14 years older than I. Then I have a younger cousin that's 2 years younger than I. Then I have one a little bit younger than that. He's about 6, 7 years younger than I. Out of all the grandchildren, I'm kind of the main grandson that's kind of around still to really kind of help tend to things that still, although we're not doing the heavy farming anymore, as far as the tillage of the land, and even as far as the herds and stuff, as far as animals, and then got the hog industry. But anyway, so I'm kind of that guy that I guess the family's kind of gonna look to over the next generation, give or take, hopefully the sons, and maybe I can convince a few other people along the way to kind of keep this thing going. You know, the thing is for me, you know, people ask, well, would I come back and farm the land? I said, well, honestly, I would. I said, but the thing is, in my opinion, to be a big farmer right now, you know, if you don't own at least 500 to 1,000 acres of land, you know, to really make a living off of it is almost out of the equation at this particular time, just because of the cost of it. You know, your general material from your seed to your equipment costs, you know, it's astronomical compared to. And I'm not gonna say it was cheap back then, because you know, when I think about it, my grandfather, you know, he worked at SRS, which was DuPont then. My father worked at DuPont, which turned into SRS. My uncle right here beside my grandfather, he worked at SRS. So, you know, these guys, they work 2 full-time jobs. You know, you're talking about strong men, you're talking about men that don't exist like that no more.
Right.
Men that would go to work 12 hours and work till dark every day. You know, I will say the only day I remember, a little different for me now, it's quite natural, we didn't work too much on Sundays. But other than that, you know, it was wide open. You know, and you just don't find that anymore. I wish to a certain degree I could instill some of the farm ethics that I learned and the values that I learned when I was growing up on the farm into my kids, but you know, the fact of the matter is a lot of things are a lot different than it was, you know, 30 plus years ago. Farmers are some of the most intelligent people I know. Right. You know, they have to understand everything, and like I tell anything, even in my major, my degrees in turf management, like I said earlier, the main key component of that is soil. If you don't understand your soils, then I'm not gonna say you're lost, but you're almost wasting time. You know, right now around our farm, you know, this is a basic, not really commercial irrigation system. We're feeding off a regular well, whatever. So it's a morning system for which feed line comes from the well. So we have drip irrigation out here. We have sprays going to the raised beds, and then we have some gear drives, which basically cover the entire garden if need be. But you know, once again, most people learn from experience. You know, if you're willing to want to do something, you can go through the trials and tribulations. That's the best way to teach you, because you always remember what not to do. And that's the thing. And then once you start learning, and usually most people, when they get certain things, they may not do it instantaneously, like even myself to a certain degree, but you might read about it. But I feel like one day that stereotype will change, especially with the way foods are grown now in this country and the way they're imported from other countries. You know, so we need to be more self-sufficient, you know, because of all the, you know, cancers and things like that that's going around, you know. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, you know, we got to be able to,
related to our food.
so we got to be able to maintain our own, you know, be sufficient for sure. And farming, you know, on a small scale and large scale, it's going to be the way to do it. So I feel like when it comes to Black culture, more Blacks will eventually get back to farming, because we're the ones that farm.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
we're the ones that did it. Right. So, you know, and the thing is, there's no need to run away from it, but still be able to obtain the knowledge enough to pass it on to our children. These kids won't have no knowledge on how to self-sustain for themselves, and when that happens, your dependency is way out there.
Yep,
and that's what you don't want. As long as you got those few things, those key ingredients, your soil, your seed, a little bit of water, maybe fertilizer, that's all you need. That's all you need.
As we walk through the land, we come across the family's memorial fountain. Stone by stone, names are etched into its surface, alongside inspirational quotes and messages that honor both the ancestors who came before and the family carrying the legacy forward today. You can feel it. The space holds memory, love, and history all at once. We then sit down with our elder, once a child who grew up on this very land.
Okay, my name is Sadie Lee Bell Davis. This is my hometown right here. This is my home site. I am the 9th child of 9 children. One child died at 5 years of age. I grew up on the farm. We picked cotton, and everything was just basic. My parents, we were kind of self-sufficient, I guess you might call it. Very little things we bought from the store. We had a big garden, and we grew all kinds of vegetables. We had to pick the vegetables. We had to, like the butter beans and the peas and all that, we had to shell those. My mother did a lot of home canning in jars, And then there were special places she would go. This is the public cannery. And they had the little tin cans, like we buy vegetables a day. The small cans and the big cans. We would go to the cannery and they would do all the cooking there. So everything we did was by farm. And as far as the jellies and the jams and all that, we didn't buy that. My mother made all of that. Matter of fact, that's the way it was during that time, because I was born in 1943. So today I'm 81 years of age. So we did everything at home, everything as far as the food was concerned. My mother was a main homemaker. She did all the cooking. We had cotton. We had to pick cotton. Oh, I hated to pick cotton. Oh my gosh. Cotton. I mean, just cotton. And that was it. And my parents were very old-fashioned, and I had a lot of rigid rules at home. We couldn't go out, and we couldn't date. And but as far as the workload, yes, we had to work. That's what the black families did. And we had our own meat, and the meat was, of course, we called them the hogs. That was our meat that we used. And certain days of the year they would butcher. And this is where they would get the hog. They would prep the hog prior to the butchering date. And my father would go out, of course, he would get a couple of men to help him. And they would process that hog. And from that hog, they might call them pigs or whatever, we made sausages. We had sauce meat. We had liver pudding, shoulders, ham, pig feet, chitlins. Today that's a delicacy, chitlins. We just didn't buy. My mother would buy maybe beef, maybe once or twice a month. She might get a roast. Chickens, we had chickens and more chickens all over the yard. We got our eggs from the chicken, and then we ate the chickens of the yard. My mother one day told me when she went to work, she said, when I come back, I want you to have this chicken killed for me and have all the defeather the chicken or pluck all the feathers. So I went out in the yard and took this chicken and put the chicken's neck on a block and put a board across the chicken's neck. I had to pull to kill the chicken. So I didn't pull hard enough and the chicken went all across the yard, just jumping and jumping. So I had to catch this chicken and try it again. So that was one of the experiences I had with killing the chicken. But we were self-sufficient. Now, as far as that part, yes, we had to work. We had to sweep the yards. Yards during that time did not have green grass. We had clean white yards. We would chop the grass and rake in beautiful yards, because that's how we kept the yards. Now, that was the work side of it. Education, we had to walk. All the black children in this community area, we had to walk to school, and that was about maybe, I'm gonna estimate about 3 miles plus, maybe less. We all grouped together, we would walk to school. The school I attended, it was Jerusalem School, and it went as far as 1st through 8th grade. We had 3 teachers, and we went to school. It was very, elementary like, basic. We carried our lunch to school. We had lunch, we would go outside for recess. We had swings, outdoor toilets. And we, on our way back from school, we had to walk back. And it hurts when I think about it. When we would get on the road here coming to our house, where the bus would come by carrying all the white children. And they would be ready for us, and they would throw out all kinds of graffiti, papers and apple peelings, whatever they had. They called us niggers, and we would walk. But I walked to school about 6.5 years. And after that, schools were consolidated for the black children, and we had school buses. Yes, I experienced a lot of segregation. We could not go to like a restaurant. We didn't have fast food places like you all have today, or we have today, of course. McDonald's, Hardee's, all that. We didn't have that. And if there was a quote like a taste of freeze where you can get ice cream, we had to go to the back and get it. And so I went through that period of segregation. Yeah. If you went to a movie, we had to sit upstairs. It was different, we were looked upon as less than when it came to the black race. Yeah. But in my heart, I felt that I was just as good. So I finished high school in 62. I went to college in Augusta, Georgia, got my bachelor's degree. Then I taught school. I started teaching school in 1966. And that was all schools, a black school then. They were not integrated. Then my first year of teaching in an integrated school, that was in 1970. And that was a big, big experience for me. We had white students, we had white teachers, but I never felt less than. And I always felt that I was just as good as the white teachers. And I had to work. My baby was 5 months old when I went back to work. And my oldest child was 3.5. But I was determined to be the best teacher ever. But it took a lot for me to be that best teacher ever. Because teachers, if you want to be anything good, you have to work with it. And I would stay up late at night, making lesson plans, making tests. But I did it. God was with me all the way. It was not easy though, but I experienced some racism. There was one white teacher that I worked with her with the student council. I was like her assistant. And she would plan to visit other schools, but she would never include me. And then there was a social we had at our school to raise money. And she asked me if I could come that night to be one of the chaperones. And I said, of course I can. She said, well, I can't come. Well, that she didn't plan to come. So the social was supported by all black children except about 4 whites. I remember that real well. Then she wanted to take that money and take the student council to Six Flags over Georgia. But she didn't tell me. And so it was one black teacher there, Miss Counts. She called me. She said, Davis, do not let that lady push you aside. I heard what's going on. She said, you stand up for what is right. And it was fair for you. So I went to the principal, and he was a retired major from the Army. You know, he didn't stand back off anybody. He called us in and he told her, he said, Miss Blank, I won't call her name, Miss Blank, you cannot do that. He said, if you're going to take a bus to Six Flags, it should be open to all the students to go, not just your select group. But she never accepted me as equal to her when it came, but I would never accept the fact that I was less than her. Then I had some white students that would challenge me, but I stood my ground. And I handed one young lady her papers back to her, test papers, and she rubbed her hand. I said, honey, this is permanent. It's not going anywhere. It's back.
I know that's right.
But yeah, I did, you know, but I came up with older parents and naturally my parents, because the era that they came up in, well, naturally they had that little, what you call it, not fear, but they always stood back.
Yeah.
And when my daddy would talk to the white gentleman that would come to the house, he would say, Captain, and yes, sir, yeah. But you know, and I stood back, I said, I can't do that. And then I picked peaches during the summer for my little extra supplement, monetary. And he would come over and pick me up, and I would attempt to sit in the front, but Daddy told me, no, you sit in the back. Well, I did that because he asked me to, my dad. But I could never accept that I was less than. I could never. And I always tell myself I'm just as good. Yeah. And I thought that all the way through. And I worked hard. And thank God, through God, he helped me to be recognized as one of the teachers of the year at the school. But it didn't come just on my own. It took a lot of work. I had challenges from white students, but I stood my ground. And that was pretty much it. But today I love students. I love young people, the young children. I taught U.S. history I taught school for 31 and a half years.
Oh, wow.
I did. I was getting tired.
Yeah.
I had burned myself out. And then our daughter had her first child, and then I went to help her. So I came out. You know, I was 55 when I came out. But I don't regret. But I was through with this farm when I passed the cotton fields, and I just looked the other way. You know, I do. I told my husband, don't show me no cotton. I don't see no cotton. That's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And I remember vividly, my daddy he was working down at, I think they call it the bum plant then, with construction. Mm-hmm. And my mother would take a chair to the field. We carried our meals in pots and pans to the field, We hung those pads up in the trees so it won't be on the ground for the ant. And time for dinner, we all go to the end of the field and we sit on our cotton sacks and we eat, go back to the cotton field, picking again. But that was our way of life.
Yeah.
And then yes, and I saw my mother experience a little segregation and injustice when she was doing domestic work, making $5 a day. And $5 a day, I'm sure, was a lot, but I look at it now, I said, and she would just work, she would iron, she would cook, she would clean house all day long. $5 a day. Yeah, but she would work and she would buy a lot of things for the house. And our parents couldn't afford to buy furniture like you all buy furniture. So she bought a lot of pieces from the ladies that she worked with. And some of the ladies were nice, they were. And I never forget, she did all this ironing one Saturday, ironed all day long. Joyce's dad, my brother, when he came by to pick up my mother to go shopping, she was still ironing. And the lady came by and didn't want to help her. And so I saw my mother go through that. I wish someday, I think back, I said, if only I could get my mother back here just one day. I said, Deuce, I'm sorry. You have to cut. But I saw my dad and mother work so hard. I know he had potato patch with his white man. And at the end of the year, he gave my dad the seconds, just a little skinny potatoes. And he took the best potatoes. And I saw them do a lot of physical work, but they were not treated right when it came to pay. And even to this day now, if a lady comes and helps me, I find myself overpaying her. I do. Because every time I get to pay this lady, I think about my mother. But anyway, I don't know, and even that's my story. It's more detailed than what I just told you, but that was it. We came up on the farm and we had to work. That's the bottom line. And as far as jams and jellies, Mama would send us out to pick the blackberries. We just go out looking for blackberry patches. They would go wild. And we would go out and look for those patches and we would bring them back and she would make those jams and jellies, and they would take the peach peelings of the peaches and they would stew those down and they would make the jellies and things. Then she made the wines. Those black women did a lot. They cooked. They made good food. My mother made homemade biscuits. She cooked well. And I'll tell you something else. My mother did not have a wash machine at that time for a while. They did everything on a scrub board. And they would have the wash pots outside and heat the water. And they would put those clothes in that hot water. And they would take long, heavy sticks and sort of go up and down. Then they take them and transfer to another tub. And they would wash. And we hung them out on the lines. And I remember my mother ironing with not the electric iron. They had that iron. Put it on, the old-fashioned iron. And when they pick it up, they had to put some type of wrapping around the handle. Yes, so it won't burn their hands. So I saw her go through all that. And it was hard. And black women at that time, that's something that I do like. The black families in the communities were more loving, more sharing. And when one family would butcher, they take a little portion to this family, that family, they would share. They were not selfish like we are today. We can live in an environment next door to this person. We know who that person is. But it's very cold. Everybody lived on their own little island. But during that time, blacks shared. They shared. We did because this family had no more than the next family. The only families that, to me, was a little bit higher level on the economic level would be the teachers. Because they taught school, they had a steady income, they made more. But the other families, we were all on the same level. And the other children had no more than I had, and vice versa. So that helped a lot. And so you couldn't look at one family and say, you know what, I feel less than. We were all on the same level. Like, except for the school teachers, I thought the school teachers' children wore better clothes than we did. They got more than we did.
Right.
But basically, all the black children, I'll never forget, there was so much cotton to be picked, and that was the income for the family. They closed school for a week or 2 weeks so the black parents could pick cotton, and they wouldn't waste it, because see, when that rain gale would come, they couldn't gather the cotton.
Right.
So that's how difficult black families had to struggle. They did. And we did well. We thought we did well. Anyway, it was well. And then also, I'll tell you something else. During that time, we had the black teachers in the schools, and we would always support that, have that positive self-concept of yourself.
Yeah.
When black children went to school, we didn't go with holes in our pants. But today, that's a style.
Right.
Yes. I had on my holy jeans.
Yes. But I mean, today that is a style. But you do not have no holes in your pants. You do not have no wrinkles in your clothes. Your hair, your everything was right in there, right on target. But yeah, right. And that was instilled in me growing up, that personal pride, and I can't get rid of it.
Yes.
It is. And when our children came up, we put that into them, that personal pride.
Yes.
And so it's still in me. And I even tell my black children when I was teaching, I said, you are somebody.
Yeah.
You are special. I keep telling them, I don't care where you come from, you are still somebody. You have to believe that this color does not make you. You have to believe that you're special. First of all, the men need to be men.
That's fine.
Parents need to teach their boys to be responsible, be men, and take care of their families. That's the man's role. That man should, I don't know, but he has to be taught that himself first. And then he instilled in this to his young sons. Teach them to be a man. This is your family. Protect your family. Support your family. Be faithful to God, first of all. Teach your children to come up in a godly home. That's first. And then you emulate that role yourself. You just can't talk it. You got to show it. Don't send your children to church. Take them to church. Teach them. That's the man. Now, as far as the lady, I realize today the economy is making both mom and dad work. But if that mother doesn't have to work, then that mother needs to play her role as a mother in the home. Teach your children manners, be respectful, have respect for yourself, take care of yourself in a ladylike way. Today, the women, the girls are exposing their bodies too much to the public. I see so much, and I just say, how did we get there? When did it happen? Why do you have to show your bodies? You don't do that. That's the old way, but today it's different. If the lady and the man today could come together, be Christian parents and live by that scripture, teach their children, be godly, it'd be better. But we have 15, 14, 16-year-old moms. They can't teach children. They are living I call, quote, a loose life in front of their children. The children gonna copycat. You got to show that role. If you don't play that role, you can't expect for that child to play that role. And that is the problem today, and my heart hurts for these young girls that's coming up with moms who wearing dresses shorter than the daughter, exposing the body. You can't raise a child like that. That dad and mom need to start with that child very early. They are the parents, you are the child. There's a line between us. Do not allow the children to talk back to you. If they do, sit them down and talk with them, explain your role and their role. The Bible says honor your parents. Right. So that's where it is, sir. It's a breakdown in the training. It's a breakdown. Fathers, I say this too, as you're a father. I don't know if you have girls or not. You have boys. So, mom, teach your boys how they are to respect ladies. That's what not only come from him, but from you. Demonstrate to your sons the respect they should have from women. Open the door, pull the chair up. There's nothing wrong with that. Teach them about be loving to your wife. Be kind to your wife. They're going to do what they see you do. Now, you ask me the question, I'm going to tell you the truth. I would tell my grandchildren, which we do have 4, and any other child that comes in my life, like my nieces and nephews, this land was not given to my parents. It was bought by hard work. Somebody sacrificed. When I was young, I used to tell my dad, "Oh, Daddy, sell this land. You don't need this. You know." He said, "Sadie." Now, my daddy was not educated, but he had common sense. He said, "You don't sell your land." He said, "Whatever you do, always keep it." He said, "Land is your collateral." Yeah. He said, "Don't ever sell." He said, "Once you sell, it's gone." So I told our children the same thing. I said, "Don't ever sign a piece of paper to sell your land. Always keep it." And I said, "Because this was bought at the sacrifice of somebody." I said, "You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it, but appreciate what we have." And I am very grateful to see Joyce take this role, and all the others that following behind her. But and I admire her for what she's doing. It's a lot of work, and I wish about 20 years younger. I would join her. Yeah, I would. But it's a lot. It's not easy what she's doing. It's not. But hopefully the grandparents will look at her. The children will look at her and say, okay, maybe she's right. Because if you look at the stats for Black ownership, I don't think you have a lot of Black people owning land.
And sitting with her, you can feel it. The history, the love, the weight of it all. That moment you realize this isn't just their story. It's a reflection of us, our roots, and everything we carry forward. We are still living, still breathing in the music, the movement, and the way we celebrate life on this land, honoring the hands, the stories, and the communities that continue to shape us through food, culture, and connection. This is Soulful Seeds, cultivating legacy, one story at a time.